No, where are your straps then?
And they're in the bag underneath the thing. Hello. Can you see the bag? Is the bag there?
Yes.
Yes. Okie dokie. Is there anything anybody was hoping to work on tonight?
Everything's good.
Back.
Yeah.
As in loosen it off or
Yeah, I've
strengthen
been
it up?
punching a bit too much.
Okay. That's okay. We can do that. So I hope those of you at home have got your blocks and your straps and things. Because we're going to utilise those tonight. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you tonight is about stepping into fear. Maybe you're not frightened of anything. Maybe you have no fear issues whatsoever. But most of us can acknowledge that there are times when we don't honour our full potential because we have some underlying fear about stepping forward in some way. And yoga is actually really great at exposing ourselves to fear and discomfort. That sounds really wrong, doesn't it? But it does. We come to our mats, we come with a teacher, and we're never quite sure what on earth's going to happen, what on earth we're going to be exposed to. Think about your very, very first yoga class. Were you anxious, frightened of what was going to be expected of you, what other people might think of you, all of these things. And that's kind of like an everyday experience for many people. And what I'm noticing is that as friends are coming out of lockdown, we felt safe within our own homes. We didn't have any external factors to really worry about, apart from perhaps going to the supermarket once a week if we can. And we were kind of limiting our exposure to stuff that made us uncomfortable, because there was a lot to feel uncomfortable about. But what I am noticing, are they saying that they can't hear me? Okay, no, they can hear me, that's all right. So what I am noticing in it, and I'm noticing it more and more and more, is that perfectly rational, sensible people are really quite frightened at the moment in situations that wouldn't normally have frightened them. And maybe you can argue that that's right. Fear is a natural part of your nervous system, and it's there to protect you. But what our practice on the mat can do is it can invite us to review that. So when we notice it, rather than saying no straight away, we can have a look and we can process it, we can think, we can step into that fear for a moment and go, okay, is this appropriate or is it not appropriate? And we're practicing that level of discernment all the time on our yoga mats, as we're invited to go places and do things with arms, legs, and it's like actually that level of discernment all the time, stepping up into it, and then at times going, okay, no, or at times like, I'm not quite ready for that. What is my alternative? So that I'm not just leaving the room, but actually, how can I stay with this but approach it and expose myself more gradually to this? And it's about having that mindfulness when you notice stuff coming up. Because otherwise, I'm seeing a lot of people just saying no to lots of experiences that I would judge as quite safe. My parents with the mods and those guys down this weekend basically batten themselves into the house, and actually that probably was going a step too far. They could probably still walk around the desert quite safely, but that was their response. So that's what we're going to have a look at today. Not that I'm going to expose you to mods or coronavirus or anything like that, but I just want you to cultivate that mindfulness of what is coming up. And what we do is we just label it. For a start, we label it, oh, actually that's making me anxious, or oh, that's making me overexcited, or oh, and we label it, and then we make a choice that we step up to it. Okay, so we're going to start tonight with lying on 2 blocks. We're going to lie with one block sideways on, and that one goes underneath your shoulder blades. And then that one is up on its end like that, and that's what the back of your head goes on. So you take the block underneath the shoulder blades, you take the back of the head onto the block, and then we'll bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees come out to the side. And we'll just take the arms away from the body and turn the palms up to face the sky. Obviously, if you're familiar with how to tie up the legs with a strap, and you practice Iyengar, then you might want to just pause me for a little bit, set yourself up. But I'm just not going all the way with this work this afternoon. And one of the ways we can combat fear, we can step up to it, is with a breath. We can learn to breathe deeply and slowly and fully. Bring your feet a bit closer down if you can towards your feet. So we'll breathe into the belly space and let the belly swell. Keep your arms wider apart from the exhale. And trust your units, get into that chest open as we're doing this for you. And we'll inhale into the belly space, and then as we exhale, we'll let the belly drift back down towards the spine. Slowing down the out breath. And leaning in on the in breath. You almost use the out breath as someone putting a cooling flannel across your brow to calm you down. It's a soothing action, purposefully done to calm you down. And sometimes with the yoga we are put into awkward, strange, peculiar shapes. And we're asked and invited to be comfortable there. We can explore that. How comfortable can we become? And if we're not ready yet to find comfort, we can quietly come out of that work. Okay, 3 more slow deep breaths here. Now as you exhale, I'm just going to invite you to bring a little tone to your PC muscle, to the pelvic floor, the muscle that connects the sacrum and the pubis. And then you can relax it on the in-breath. Totally on the out. So let's roll over to one side. Let's all roll to our right. Coming off the blocks and then using your hands to very slowly bring yourself back up. That is a really lovely preparation for pranayama if you feel like doing some breath work. Okay, so extending the legs away from you. And bend your right knee and take hold of your right foot. And holding the right foot, just do row your boat for a moment. And then go the other way. We will be working into the hips tonight because that is traditionally the seat of fear in the body, in the gut. Okay, so hold your right foot up with your right hand, take your left arm round and take the foot either into the crook of your wrist or the crook of your elbow, and then bring your right arm round the outside and down. And try and keep the shoulders away from the neck. Breathe in. And on the out breath, take the foot to the outside of your left knee. Take your left arm, wrap it around the front, and clasp your fingers, wrap it around the front of your right shin, and use your right hand to lovingly draw that arm back. Press your left heel lightly down, lift through your spine. And the action of lightly pulling with the right hand moves the right shoulder blade a little closer towards the spine. And the breath is deep. And the breath is full. Inhale, look forward. Exhale the right hand to the floor behind you. Take your left hand, take hold of the outside of your right foot. And then you're going to, on the right foot. Right hand, yes. Right hand behind you. It's been a long day. And you're going to slowly kick that right foot. And it might become straighter, it might not. It really doesn't matter. And then you're going to look over your right shoulder. Inhale forward. And exhale slowly release. Turn your left foot out to the side and draw the foot up towards you, taking hold of the foot with both hands. And then lovingly rowing the boat. And then change direction. And then we'll come to stillness. Hold the left foot and the left hand, the right arm comes round, and we'll take the foot into the crook of the right arm. And gently trying to lift the shin up as high as we comfortably can. Situation of feet, so important. So good. Brett showed me this little picture of Mum's garden, and I now have golden shade. I'm thinking I need to make more of an effort. But yours is work in progress. Right hand comes across, takes hold of the outside of the left foot, and the left hand comes behind you. And you just kind of lounge back and kick your foot away. And then over your left shoulder. It's a gentle twist. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knee, put the foot back to the outside. Take your right arm and wrap it around the front of the shin. And use your left hand to lovingly pull the left shoulder. Over the left shoulder. And feel how the light pull on the left hand, pulling on the right hand, invites the left shoulder blade towards the centre line. Meanwhile, the right shoulder blade is opened away from the centre line. And then we'll inhale and look forward. And exhale and release. Extend the left leg away. Bring the hands together, clasp the fingers together and turn the palms away. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, stretch the soles of your feet in one direction and the soles of your palms in the other. Inhale, reach a little taller. And as you exhale, turn the palms in towards you and round your back, bringing the arms down parallel to the floor. As you inhale, turn the palms away. Exhale, round your back and forward in. 3 more of these. One more. And then on the next out breath, gently release your hands. Take your hands behind you. And take your hands to the floor, fingertips pointing in towards you. Your hands are about, 6 inches behind your bottom of your hand. You're going to bend your elbows, pull the elbows back to widen across this breastbone, and then lightly and lovingly draw the heart forward. Take the front of your throat and pull it towards the back of your neck. And then begin to lift the gaze up. But you have to establish that action first of all. Drawing the front of the throat back, and then you can lift the gaze. Keep squeezing the elbows towards each other. And take 3 slow deep breaths right into the upper chest. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, and release. Good. Roll over, tail crossing the ankles, roll over the hands underneath. And we'll bring the knees underneath the hips and the wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale and drop your belly and lift your gaze and look up. And exhale and around the spine, bring the right knee in to kiss your forehead. Inhale, bring the right leg up behind you and look up. Rounding the spine, bring the knee in towards the forehead. A few more. And then the next time the right leg is extended away from you, keep it there. And get really long. Push down through your right hand and send your left arm. Try not to sag through your belly, keep a light lift. Okay, let's challenge ourselves a little bit here. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, bring the left elbow to kiss the right knee. And then inhale and extend away. Exhale, draw in. Inhale and extend away. Exhale, draw in. And then we'll extend. Bend the right knee, sweep the left hand back and see if you can find your ankle. And if you can, you're going to reach the heel up away from the bottom and work here. Just enjoy that stretch through your quads. And then exhale and release. Come up on your knees. If you have a core block available, you're going to take it to the inner thighs and squeeze the inner thighs at the top with the block. Take one hand to your belly and one hand to your lower back. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, scoop the belly in and up and let the tailbone drop. Stay strong here, hands come in front. Inhale. And as you exhale, press your shins into the floor as you pulse back. Inhaling, coming up. Tailbone goes away as you pulse back. Inhale. And then we'll inhale and lean back up. Exhale and release. Hands come back on the shoulders. Inhale and then drop the belly and lift the gaze and up. And on the out breath, rounding the spine, bring the left knee to kiss the forehead. Inhale and the left leg comes out behind you. And just reassuring the body with this gentle, familiar movement. You need more that. Okay, so next time the leg is lifted, keep it there. And reach into it. Try and get the hips the same height. Flex your foot. Reach into the inner heel. Don't sag your belly down. Lift your belly up, flatten your back. And then come light on your right fingertips and stretch your right arm. Down and trace your arch in your back, so bring the belly up a bit more. That's it. Okay, so now we come to the challenge of keeping our balance And exhaling and bringing the right elbow, the left knee to kiss. And then inhale, extend it up. Exhale in. Inhale away. Few more. So really try and stretch your inner heel away from your fingertips at the peak of the breath. And then we'll go for the challenge. Extending, bending the back knee, sweeping the right hand around and finding the inside of the foot. And then kicking. Kicking. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. Come back up on your knees. Take a block between the inner thighs. Squeeze it, press down through the tops of your feet. One hand to the belly, one hand to the lower back. Inhale into the hand on the right. Exhale, draw it in and up. Hands come together. And on the out breath, we pulse back. And on the in breath. And then inhale, slowly back. And exhale, and release. Put your hands to the floor. Inhale, turn your toes under. Flatten your back so it's not arching one way or the other, just in front of your hands. And float your knees off the floor, just on each side. Pause. And then press lightly back to downward facing dog. Let's bend our knees lots, lift our sitting bones high, and push through the heels of the hands and invite the heart a little closer to the knees. Hands a fraction wider down, just a fraction wider, that's it. Spread your fingers and trace it. Breathe and feel down through the index knuckle. And the breath is wide and deep. And the attitude discerning. And then we begin to straighten our legs. Inhale high on the tippy toes. And exhale, take the knees to. Take your knees wide apart, big toes come to touch. And we'll sink the bottom back towards the heels. Inching the hands a little bit further forward. Either forehead or chin on the floor. If you can't get the forehead to the floor, maybe take a block underneath the forehead. And then we're going to keep the elbows shoulder width apart, bend the elbows, bring the hands together. And bring the hands behind the back of the neck, thumbs down the back of the neck. And lightly pull the bottom away from the elbows. Inhale, hands come forward, look forward. And exhale, come back up onto the hands and the knees. So this next one is about pulling to our centre line, so we can pull to our centre and feel strong no matter what emotion we are feeling. So what you're going to do is take the block, and I've got it that way round, just below the inner thighs, and I'm squeezing it. Feet come hip distance apart, and then I'm going to come into the press up position and squeeze the block actively, and you'll actually find you'll feel lighter and more supported through that action. Can you feel that? Yeah? So come forward more, Viv, so your shoulders are over your hands, you're in your press up position, that's better. Good. And breathe. Try and straighten through the backs of your knees down. That's better. No, lift it forward, lift your hips there. So really reach from the back of your knee towards your heel. And now lift your heart up between your shoulders. Yeah, tending to go like that, I want you to push away. Like that. Okay. And then let's press back to the dog face down and continue to squeeze the block between the inner thighs. If you have no block, that's fine. We practice months without blocks. Have a sense of trying to roll the block backwards. I don't know why that sardine tin came to my head there. It's that kind of rolling action as you're kind of peeling the block backwards behind you. I suspect if I could see my knees, they'd be slightly rolling in with this action. You're exaggerating the action. It's a way of connecting into the core. Right, inhale high on the tippy toes. And exhale and release. Put the block away and slowly come down onto your belly. Get into the shoulders. Take your left arm out to the side with the palm facing down and take your right hand underneath your right shoulder. You're going to bend your right knee. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to roll to the left and take the toes lightly to the floor. And maybe you can lift that right knee up towards the spine. And you're kind of leaning back and just stretching through the front of that left shoulder. Can you walk that hand a little bit higher up that way down? That hand, yes. Yeah. And then smile. You're feeling that in front of the shoulder, yeah?
Yeah.
So, a lot of us women, as we hit middle age, begin to get peculiar shoulder impingements. And really, we begin to see this really from early 40s onwards as our estrogen levels begin to drop. And it means that it is easier for us to do a mischief to our shoulders. So keeping them strong, lubricated and supported is really important. Otherwise you'll come to lift your bag off the carousel next time you're allowed to go flying and you'll do yourself a mischief on the shoulders. So you're going to pick up the baby and the shoulders won't work. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, roll back onto your belly. And without too much fuss, let's do the other side. So take the right arm out at shoulder height, palm facing down. Left hand underneath the shoulder, bend your left knee. And then gently roll onto the right hip. And just slowly twist open through that right shoulder. But I do see a lot of fear in shoulders with people, with ladies especially. lot of anxiety about the health of their shoulders. And then roll back into your belly. Yeah, and then lift that hand up a little bit higher and spread the palm. That's it. Now go again. Just slowly, gently, gently. And occasionally you will find someone who can actually let that left buttock just descend all the way down to the floor. Tracy, bring your foot to the other side of your knee. That's it. When we lean into it and we breathe into it lovingly, finding where the boundaries are with discernment. And we're not letting fear rule the work, we're letting love inform our actions. One more deep breath in and out. And then inhale and roll gently back onto the belly.
Take your hands behind you and link your hands together, clasp your hands together. Rest your thumbs on your sacrum and lift your elbows away from your back. And then lengthen down into your knuckles. Feet are hip distance apart, spread the toes wide on the mat. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, let your thighs feel heavy, your shins feel heavy. And inhale and rise up. Reaching the arms behind you. I want you to imagine that I'm behind you and I've got my hands on your shins, on your calves. You can begin to lengthen the arms back away from the sacrum, lengthening them behind you. Don't lead with your chin. Tap the front of the throat, moving towards the back of the neck as you work. Deep breath in. And exhale, slowly but surely come down. And just turn your head to the right. Relax your arms beside you. Turn your head to the right. Close your eyes. And breathe. Because that's the thing, isn't it, really? If we are letting fear dictate our decisions rather than rational discernment inform our decisions, then that's just a downward spiral. We used to have a little, actually it was read at our wedding, a little quote, and it was, do something every day that scares you just a little bit. I'm not advocating scary yoga, but I'm advocating recognising fear and then just stepping up to it so you can be discerning. Right, come back onto your belly with the face comes to the centre line. We're going to slide the hands back so that the heel of your hand is by your waist. Zip your legs together and really press the legs. So it's almost as if, so all that work we did with the brick between the inner thighs was preparation for this. And we'll lengthen from the belly through into the toes. And we'll lengthen from the belly through into the crown.
And then we'll lift the shoulders away from the floor and send the shoulders to the elbows, so the chest becomes nice and wide and open and the heart space through. And then we'll begin to lift our legs and lift our hearts away from the floor. Strengthening the muscles of the posterior chain, all the way from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Keep those legs long, lengthen from the belly button to the toes. Lengthen from the belly button to the crown. Beautiful. Okay, inhale. And exhale and come down. Release the arms beside you and look in the other direction, which I think is to your left.
And if that's uncomfortable with your neck bone, then take a pillow to your forehead. And then come with the head back to the centre.
Hands come underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers wide. Feet hip distance apart. Lift your shoulders, send them to your elbows. Pull your heart forward. Roll the shoulders down the back. And inhale, come up into your Jefferson. And it is said that this asana is the one that you work with if you wish to combat fear. So is there something you're not doing because it frightens you? Is there something that prevents you growing as a person because you're not prepared to lean into it? Then maybe bring that to your mind right now as you work in this posture. Shoulders down, collarbones wide, neck free. Abdomen, breath, and face soft. Breathe in. And then breathe out that fear as you drop the belly, the heart, and the forehead back down. And this time just make one hand on top of the other hand onto your forehead. Good stuff. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders and push back into the pose of a child, into Balasana for a moment. Dan, I want to begin to open up your ankle joint over time. I don't want to be bad at dance, but I think it would be good for that joint to be more open. And so when you come back into Balasana, doesn't matter if the knees are apart or the knees are together, just lightly pull the outer ankle towards the inner ankle. And then you can actually use the weight of your bottom to open that ankle joint. Do your knees allow you to do that?
Yeah.
And then sort of just kind of almost push yourself back into there for a little bit. And make sure that you feel that stretch in that ankle joint. Is that okay? Too much? Yeah, so do you kind of take the bottom, yeah, is that better?
Yeah.
Pulling the outer, yeah, that's better. Yeah, I think that will just help with some of your postures. So a really good, tried and tested method for combating fear, self-limiting fears, is to practice a little bit of exposure. So you step up to it, you lean into it, you expose yourself to it for a bit, you breathe, and then you step back if it starts to come to too much. But you keep stepping up to it. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, slowly roll up to a kneeling position. We're going to take our hands and wrap them around the opposite elbows and take the elbows underneath the shoulders, and we're just going to clasp the hands together. Now, you're going to be pressing down through your forearms, so you might want to just tuck the bottom little finger in so that it doesn't get squashed. So join me, it's a chopping action down through your arms into the floor. Your head's not going to go to the mat. We're going to turn our toes under and keep the knees very bent and pull your heart back towards your knees. Your head will be just floating off the floor. Then you push, push, push and press, press, press down through the forearms. And you pull the heart back towards the knees. And the sitting bones are reaching up and away as if there was a chariot pulling your sitting bones back behind you. Hang your head, let your head go. Right, inhale. And exhale, gently drop the knees to the floor and take rest in the pose of a child. Okay, and then look this way. So we can all work with headstand. We can work with headstand if we don't have neck issues. Do you work with headstand?
Fling myself against the wall.
You fling yourself against the
In
wall.
that daily fashion.
Okay, but you don't not do it because of your neck.
No.
Do you do it? Do you do it with it?
Well, I probably put against the wall.
Okay, that's fine. So we've got some notes for the wall here. Or not. Have we worked with it before, Tracy? Have I worked with it with you, Dan, before? Headstand? Okay. It's obviously been too traumatic. He's not been harbouring a fear about headstands ever since. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through where we're going to work. If you want to work with the wall, you can do. But I'm just going to work free here in the open space. So if you don't have retina issues, if you don't have glaucoma and you don't have high blood pressure and you're not concerned about your neck, then have a go. Have a go. Just go as far as you can. Expose yourself. No, don't expose yourself with food. Lean into the unknown with curiosity, making sure that you've cleared a good path in case you roll over. You press down through your forearms, and then you take the crown of your head and you support the back of your head with your hand. But I'm right on the crown of my head, chin turned in. All the time I'm pushing down through the forearms, and you see how as I push down, my shoulders are lifting up? Yes? Yes, then I can see. And then the knees come up, and then you walk in. Okay? Now at this point you might fling yourself elegantly up against the wall and come up thusly. If you're working from the floor, practice coming up and down on your tippy toes. Up and down on your tippy toes. Until one day they just float up. And you can come into a little ball here. Keep pressing down through the arms. And then the ball might just come all the way up. Okay? And then when you come down step by step. And you make sure you take a nice rest. Because you worked hard. But wherever you get to, just stop. Be steady. Practice the next stage. And see where we go. If you want to use the wall, use the wall. Push the leads back against the wall. Or if this is the first time you've done it, I'd like you just to stay where you are. I can't. Yeah, I can't do that.
I don't know.
You have?
No, I haven't.
Okay, good. That's it. So there's no pressure to go up. Okay. My only instruction to you is to be strong down through your forearms. You chose the right class to drop back into, Christine, didn't you? Take your hands, wrap them around the opposite elbow. Take the elbows underneath your shoulders. Clasp your fingers together, don't let the elbows go wide. And tuck that bottom little finger in. Push down through those forearms, tuck your chin and take your crown of your head to the floor and just support the back of your head with your hands. Turn your toes under and lift your knees off the mat. Keep pushing down through your forearms. Helen, your head is on your hands, not on the crown of your head. That's it. And as you walk forward, your contact's better. And then if you want to, you can practice going up, walk your feet in more, Tracy. You can practice, like I did, going high on the tippy toes, and then reaching the heels back down. And then high on the tippy toes, and reaching the heels back down. Okay, so keep working with that. Then you've got to keep pushing those shoulders, forearms down and lifting the shoulders away from the floor. Up and down as much as you need to. If you want to lift one leg up and go up against the wall, then by all means do so. Don't lean on the wall with your back down. Is your back on the wall? Careful, careful.
You did the thing you used to have in the corner.
Pardon?
That thing you used to have in the corner.
What thing?
That expensive thing.
Expensive thing. Or is it expensive? No, it's just a line. Do you want me to move it? You can plan on falling that way. Oh, I'm so brave in this class. I'm doing a fear-based thing.
I've been on the roller coaster today.
Have you?
I have.
Dear Lord in heaven, I've got chosen the wrong theme and should be backing off. That's it. Yeah, just don't go any further just because it's the first time you've done it tonight.
I'm scared. No.
Well done, Dan. That's really good. That's it, Tracy. You're doing fine. Turn the toes under. And just, you can just, go to the edge of where that is. And if that's just with both feet on the floor. Still. Okay, Dan, that's brilliant. You need to squeeze the legs together as we go on. That's fine. You don't need to go any further, Tracy. That's fine. Maybe practice taking that one down. Come high on the tippy toes of that one. High, and then bring the other one up. Yes. Good, that's fine. And then we're all going to come to the pose of the child when we've had enough of this. Don't rush if you're in the middle of something. Well done. Legs together. You can put one heel on the wall and then the other heel can go between the big toe and the first toe.
Oh.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. It's just a way and then that leg that's supported is giving you the right alignment. Nice. Can't stop this light in the room doing it. And we're having a great time. I don't know if you guys at home are just having a cup of tea at this stage. Come off and you're just sitting there. Someone brought you a gin and tonic. That heel thing gig is if you're a little bit closer to the wall. It allows you to have one heel on the wall and the other one off, but it seems to work for you anyway. Right. Pose of the child, please. We're moving on. And we soothe the nervous system. The slow breath. And then let the hands go forward, inhale, forward. And exhale, come up onto the hands and the knees. Let's come onto the back. So bring the knees forward, across the ankles. And before we lie down, let's just wrap the arms around the legs and find upwards balance. And relax the forehead down towards the knees. The cosmic egg shape here is one that many of us feel very safe in. It's a balancing posture as well, but as if we've gathered all of our energy around us. Very safe. And lift the head. And you squeeze the legs together, the toes. And release the arms. And lift your chest. And then inhale, lift the left leg. And exhale down. Inhale the right leg. Exhale down. And again. And then maybe both legs come up. And then we'll slowly take the feet down to the mat. Take the arms onto the knees, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, round your back and slowly but surely come down. So we're going to take Savasana. So if you're close to the wall, you might want to move your bottom a little bit further down the leg, the shoulder stand. But shoulder stand is a lovely asana to do after headstand. It gets all the decompression out the neck. So bring your arms beside your body and your palms facing down. Squeeze your legs together. And inhale and just roll your bottom off the mat. Bring your hands to your back. Bring your legs to 45 degrees. Try and feel your hands matching each other on your back. And what if in this posture you were having a sense of lifting up and out of the work rather than just bearing down into your poor wrists. Lovely. It's nice, Tracy. Or maybe work your hands a little bit further down the back. Maybe lift the legs a little bit higher. Lifting the heart up over the throat. Okay, here's a tough one. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to keep your knees high and drop your heels towards your bottom. Keep your knees high, squeeze your legs lightly together. Heels to the bottom, that's it. Tracy, that's down. Keep those knees high. That's it. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, twist your knees to the right. Any other way to do. Knees stay high. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale to the left. Oh, it's so scary doing all these strange things. Inhale back to the center. And exhale, reach your legs back up towards the sky. Good, get a little higher, maybe cross one ankle in front of the other, squeeze your legs together, see if you can lift up. Could you hold this potentially without your hands even on your back? Don't try it too much. But that's one of the ways some more advanced practitioners work. They don't need their hands. They can hold themselves there through their balance and through their strength. Bring the legs side by side each other. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, bend the knees down to kiss your forehead. Maybe you can even rest the knees on the forehead. Maybe it's very relaxing for you. And then keeping that ball shape, the cosmic egg has been turned upside down. You're going to take the arms to the mat to use as levers. Palms facing down, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, slowly roll down to the floor. And then you might need to just hug the knees in towards the chest and roll your head gently from side to side. One of the delightful things about working with props is that we can approach quite advanced postures, but with the support of the props, a sense of being held and supported in them, which in turn calms the mind and removes the fear from the work, so we can become more familiar. Right. So with that in mind, let's approach Setu Bandhasan with the support of a block. So again, if you haven't got your block at home, then you're just going to have to work without it. You know how to work with Setu Bandhasan without a block. If you've got it, take the feet hip distance apart. Come high on your tippy toes and take the block underneath your sacrum. And then redrop the heels. And there's a lovely hollowness in the lower belly as you work here. The heart is lifted. So you can wriggle the shoulders in underneath, you clasp your fingers together, lengthen into your knuckles, and slowly breathe the heart a little bit higher up over the throat. So nice. Good. Tracy, just square your feet up a little bit. They're a bit And down, keep your toes where they are, take your heels a fraction wider apart. Sit down. Relax. Letting the medicine of the shape do its work. Each shape has a different chemical relationship with the nervous system. If we can let go of the stories behind the shape. And soften as much of your shoulders down to the floor then as you can. That's it. Toes spread wide. And when you're ready, release your hands, take them to the block. Inhale, lift your heels, come high, take the block out from underneath you. And exhale and slowly but surely lower down towards you. And we'll take the feet wide and drop the knees in towards each other. And just take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. And with the feet hip distance apart once again. You might want your strap for this next one. Inhale and reach the heel up towards the sky and take hold of your back of your leg or use your strap. If you're using your strap, keep a slight bend in your elbows so there's no tension. And then you might want to just slide that left heel away from you down the mat. If the left heel is extended away, then we have the heel, centre of the heel down towards the floor. Suction cupping the back of the knee lightly down towards the earth. And then let's reach the right arm up as high as we can up the strap. Take the left arm out to the side of shoulder height. And attempt to keep the left buttock on the floor through the work as we gently let the leg come out to the right. And I then just drop my right elbow down to the floor so I feel open and supported in the chest. And then gently breathe that right foot slowly but surely down towards the ground. Keep extending into your left inner heel. And then we'll inhale and bring the leg up towards the sky. Release and exhale and slowly take the right foot down towards the ground. So sorry, I got that wrong. No, let's bend both knees once again. Just straighten out your spine.
Make sure you feel nice and in a straight line. And then lift your left leg up towards the sky and take the strap around the foot. Reach the hands up just as high as is comfortable. Keep a slight bend in the elbow. Keep the hip dropping down to the earth. And then slowly but surely investigate reaching the right heel away from you. Really try and settle the space between your shoulder blades. Soothing yourself in the work through the breath. We will take the strap into the left hand, take the right arm out at shoulder height, and then exhale, keeping the right buttock on the floor for as long as you can. Slide the leg out to the left and then let your left elbow come down to the floor. Do you feel open, supported, chest supported on the ground? Right buttock, right heel presses down, and then you breathe right out into the heel. Sending the left waist long. And let's inhale and lift the leg up towards the sky. And exhale. And release. Bring the knees into the chest. You can take a block between your inner thighs if you want to, just to support the knees. Take the arms out at shoulder height, take a breath in. And on your out breath, just take the knees over to the left, to gaze to the right. Every aeroplane on the south coast is flying over my house today. Squeezing the knees together, inhale, bring the knees back up to the centre. And exhale and take your knees to the right, hip to the left. And let's squeeze the block with the knees. Inhale, come back to the centre. Exhale and stretch your legs away from you, down your mat as we come to Shavasana. The legs come slightly apart, the feet relax out to the sides.
And the arms come away from the body. Face is soft, take a lovely deep breath in through the nose. And breathe out with a gentle sigh. And again, deep breath in through the nose. And out with a sigh. And then the face softens. And we notice how different it feels to approach challenge with love rather than with fear. And that's what we do in our practice. We know there are challenges in the practice for us, but we approach them kindly and lovingly. And we let that voice be so much louder than the fear. And sometimes we have boo-boos, and lifetime's practice of yoga and being human will mean that there are times when there are little boo-boos in the body that need to have time to heal, or space just to be. We don't let fear close us down, make us feel less than. Instead, we simply acknowledge these boo-boos and we give them the kindness and the love that they need. And there's so much that we can do as we work around boo-boos. Still so much. Even if we were just to lie on our mats and imagine our postures, that has a change, it has a physiological change in the body when you visualize the asanas. When you visualize the alignment. And that's a really powerful way of working. It's probably the most sensitive and advanced way of working that there is. Take a long, slow, deep breath in and out of the body. Wiggling our fingers and wiggling our toes. the arms away and enjoying a lovely stretch. Just taking a moment to smile to ourselves. To every aspect of ourselves, the light and the shadow. Bend our knees and roll gently over to the right hand side. And bring yourself slowly to sitting. Bringing our hands in front of our hearts. A deep breath in through the nose. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Give yourself a namaste. Thank you, yogis, yogi. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you guys who joined us online. We've lost a couple of them. We've gone for gin and tonics. You're welcome, Alison. Thanks, Christine. Thanks, Damini. Lovely to see you.